Good morning and welcome. It's another Wednesday edition of Wake Up Nigeria, the last one in the month of November.
Yay!
We are winding down the year.
Yes, we are. Of course, you know, Wednesdays are the midpoint of the week. A chance to reassess, recharge, and refill your ambitions. We, of course, are here to inject your morning with good vibes and positivity.
Now, that's some motivation for you this Wednesday morning to go out there, grab, everything by the horns and
the bulls.
and your goals. Yeah, make it happen. Somebody who's reading newspaper this morning. The newspaper is even on her body. Danny,
Wow.
good morning.
Okay.
Good morning to you, Mike.
What can you read what
is there?
what's
Yes,
on-
as
is
a
that
headline.
a shawl or what? What do you call it?
Yeah, it's a scarf, actually.
Oh, scarf.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a scarf. It's one of our FPG collection items. Same with what I'm wearing. So, yeah. Shout out to pattern girls.
All
Okay, of course, we all know the midweek is our chance to correct the path we're on. So to pivot towards our goals and, of course, our dreams. And, well, today is no exception.
Exactly. That's what we do to inspire, entertain, and of course educate you. My name is Mike Messikeno.
And I am Emil Kocha. Remember that you can watch the show live, at tvcentertainment.tv. And of course, you can reach us on all our socials at TVC Connect.
You can hit us up, but we are live on GOTV. And also, it's the ultra high frequency. The band is 49 on terrestrial, the channel 16 on GOTV.
Right.
Yep.
So I would like you guys at this point to grab your enthusiasm as we set sail to what we have on our lineup on the show today.
We kick off with relationship. Aremo Olalekon will be here for relationships. And of course, we're going to be talking something that will definitely interest you this morning. Family history and relationships. That's our topic for this morning.
And for a musical performance, we have Yan Day. He'll be joining us on the show later on.
We have another guest on the show today, Henry Obidi, who will be here. Has done quite a lot as a director, and we'll be talking to him on the show this morning.
Just a powerful minute.
How does this look?
You mean, how do you look?
Good morning. No, this. So there was a time when you just come out of the house and just jump out. You don't care. But the older you get, you start looking more at.
You start paying attention
But hi
to
guys,
your look.
yeah, good morning. Wednesday morning, and November is already over. I was talking to somebody yesterday. I don't know if it's a function of age, but of course we know that as you get older, time runs faster. But this year has been a breeze not in the best ways. But November is here, and by next week it will be December, and yeah, the year is over. Yes, over. How far with your
We
goals?
start writing down our New Year
Somebody
resolutions.
said on social media, look, everything now is 2024. I'm not doing it. I've closed.
I've shut it down for the
I've
year
shut down for the
already.
year. Well,
Right.
to motivate you, there's still some time. There's still some things you can achieve. It's up to you. That's you.
Well, on that note, I guess I'll just say, don't put yourself under pressure. The year has ended already. You might as well just, breeze
Talking
through
about
it.
somebody that has exhibition of fashion show this weekend. Don't allow him to lead you astray, please. Thanks. Oh, it's not too late. You can still make it. Thanks.
It's ironical because even the exhibition and the fashion event was totally not planned at all. I mean, 2 months ago, I didn't think that, even last month, I didn't think that I was going to, participate, but hey, we're doing that later on. Of course, that's at the Cultural Tea Festival, which is happening this weekend. So yeah, we'll give you more dates on that later on.
Good morning. The news on Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Mike Messikeno. Now, there's a planned investigation by the federal government on allegations made by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, who claimed that prison officials are conniving with terrorists to move funds and launch an attack. The CDS spoke when he appeared before the House of Reps Committee of the Whole to discuss Nigeria's security challenges last Tuesday. Barely a week after, the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, says the allegation is being investigated. He stated this while speaking with newsmen on updates into the probe.
We are investigating, but nevertheless, I also believe that these are things that can be handled between agencies in an interagency manner. you know, and I believe that a lot of these things are not issues that should be celebrated in front of camera. And I also believe that we will get to the root of it. And one thing you can be rest assured of under this government, under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is his zero tolerance, you know, for corruption. His zero tolerance for unprofessionalism, and zero tolerance for treason, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a treasonable thing. It's felonious in nature. So we're investigating, but Nigerians can be rest assured that we will do our best. And the most important thing is for Nigerians to be able to sleep with their two eyes closed.
Now, the House of Reps has said it will investigate the alleged failed attempt by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to abduct and forcefully remove the former governor of Central Bank, Godwin Emefiele, from the custody of a Nigerian Correctional Center, Kuje, Abuja, in defiance to a subsisting court order which granted him bail. The House resolved to look into the allegation after it received a petition from a civil society organization, Society Center for Social Justice, Equity and Transparency. In the petition dated the 27th of November and addressed to the House Deputy Spokesman, Philip Agbese, the CSO says the actions of the security agencies are a direct affront on the rule of law and amounts to disregarding the order of a competent court of law. The organization lamented the embattled former CBN governor is now facing persecution and not prosecution. Foreign stories, the extension of a deal between Israel and Hamas means that more hostages will be freed from Gaza and that more desperately needed and will be delivered to the territory as humanitarian crisis continues. The Red Cross says it has successfully facilitated the release and transfer of 11 Israeli captives held in Gaza. The truce has allowed more lorries with medicine, food and water to get into the territory, but this is just a fraction of the amount of aid that will be delivered daily before the war. Crucially, aid is getting into northern Gaza, an area that for weeks was the focus of Israel's offensive against Hamas, which has led to widespread destruction. Still, residents who have been displaced say they need more help. Meanwhile, the United Nations has used the pause in fighting to get desperately needed aid into Gaza, but says much more is needed. We'll take a time out now. Stay with us. We'll be back in a bit. Okay, yeah, good morning. And of course, we're here at the table. And I was a referee on Saturday, but it was quite something. I'll talk about that on Friday when I've fully recovered, because
You've not recovered.
But
you're still in the football.
but Danny has some talk of another kind of referee, because when she mentioned referee, I was like, okay.
Not your kind
Oh,
of.
not your
Is
kind of.
Auntie being a bit more?
It's another kind of.
Is she well, what's the word?
more
Is this
involved in
what
sports.
Jay-Z uses? Is Jay-Z word? Are you channeling? Yes, that's
Channeling
the word.
my inner
Channeling.
footballer.
Are you channeling your inner? No, volleyball. That's what you do. I think that's what you do better. But yeah, you have something to tell us. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, so I came across this post on Diary of a Niger Girl, and the person literally posted, she was like, okay, when my referee was called for my reference, he tried to pitch himself to the job and said he didn't really know me like that. I asked him about it, he smirked and said, hey, you know how it is now. Even me and my terrible luck, this is actually wild. So, yeah, so it was just a situation of someone literally putting someone's name as a referee on her CV, and then Richard as president, and him pitching himself for a job. So different people were commenting. So people were like, okay, fine, I think a referee should literally be an older professional, right? Somebody that, of course, the person cannot be struggling for the same job as you, do you understand? Or maybe a lecturer in your university and all of that. So when it comes to like character referee and things like that. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Have you ever been waylaid? And then again, who should be your referee on your CV?
So how did the person know that the referee was pitching the job? Was it like the
She said she still got the job.
employer
Eventually.
Told
her
It's possible. She
that?
said she got the job now, so maybe.
Okay, but how did she know?
I'm sure that's how she knew. The person probably told her.
But you know that it's unprofessional, number one.
At all. Is it professional for them to pitch himself in a
I mean, for the employer to tell her that, I mean, maybe the referee just thinking that, look, I'm a better fit for this job or
Give it to
something,
me.
you know, because I know this person or whatever. I don't know, but I think there's almost no better instance of dog eat dog, man, than this kind of situation. This is a real jungle jungle behavior, man.
It's a dog.
It's jungle.
dog
Like
eats dog
it's gangster. Like how do you? So, like you said, what are there any universal standards for selecting a referee or a reference or somebody that should some sort of a guarantee for you in some ways? It's things change. But I said last time, somebody I saw who professionally creates CVs for people said that at the referee point, you just put they're available on request. So there are a few times I've sent out my CV, very few times, but even at that now I change it to available on request.
Okay.
And so it's depending on what happens. And you know that for every job, if it's a different type, your CV should in such a way
tailored
to reflect it. But then it becomes very, very commonplace. Some people are number 5, and in their CV they put number 1 and all of that. So there's a lot of, I don't want to say line, I just want to say embellishments and, what's it now? Exaggeration.
Cropping.
Yeah. But you see, someone said state of origin. This is from a professional CV, I don't know what they call it. State of origin, referees. State of origin referees.
Date of birth?
Date of birth. You don't specify those. So you make them available on request.
Yes.
So that there's no bias?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that there's no sort of bias. If somebody wants to move further, so you put what is necessary, what is required for that job, except they ask and say, state these things. So when you put all of that, if they go through the CV and then they want to go further, and they say, oh, want to give this job to a 60-year-old man, but you are 32, then they can now say, uncle, what's your age? Or auntie, what's your age? So there are a number of things that you should. But for me, and especially that referee part, yes, like you mentioned something that some people even decide what kind of referee they want for every particular job. They might want to talk to your former corporation, or former and all of that. So that's why. So on that one, I would say, so like I said, there might be no universally accepted standards. But this is from a doctor who curates CVs, who helps people put CVs together. Says there are those few informations that could cause some form of bias should not be on your CV.
In the case of the referee and the intending employee in this regard, right? So first off, who's a referee? A referee is anyone, right, who can vouch for your skill and effectiveness, right? So whether it is your former employer, whether it is, but it has to be basically someone in a professional, someone in your line of work, in your line of experience in this regard, like an older person, maybe a former boss or something, but someone that can basically vouch for your skill. Because we've seen cases where people put their relatives as their referees, or friends as referees, or older friends who are professionals in the industry as referees, because they feel that based on, I can trust this person, I know this person can vouch for me. But in this regard, I really don't think the referee owes her anything. He actually doesn't.
No, that's wrong.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
I can't just put anybody because the person is a professional.
Because
I need to have some form of relationship with the referee.
Yes.
I can't just put anybody.
What kind of relationship does she have with this referee in this regard?
Specifically they asked for the direct line manager she worked under.
Maybe they didn't have a good relationship.
And that's what they needed. No, that's the thing. No, that is what they needed to confirm her actual work and deliver. Maybe to avoid situations like we find relationship, obviously. It's a matter of good relationships. And then again, another angle, like I was looking at things from. So now, as an employer, you literally call a referee to literally vouch for somebody else. The person is now pitching them. Would you?
It actually questions your character.
Of course, it questions your character a whole lot. Like,
that's the employer or the
employer. Who is calling the referee? The referee is pitching himself. I will leave the person that was calling you. I will now start saying you have to come for an interview.
It actually questions your character.
It
questions the character of the referee and the employer. And if he agrees to it.
Yes,
that the pitch does not mean that the person.
The person can usurp you.
She can betray me.
I'm telling you.
Did the person actually go for that interview?
No, I'm just saying.
If
the person, of course, thought about something now. If they were going to go forward in that interview, the next interview.
So maybe they ask the person, okay, can you, let's just say, for instance, it's for a chef job. Can you
cook?
jalapeno?
They say, oh,
or
yes,
something?
I can cook it.
And then you ask the referee, like,
He first
wait
said,
now.
I really don't know how. Wow.
Now, yes, now say, can this person cook jalapeno or whatever? I say,
She can, but there's
the last
no
time I ate akara, I vomit, I almost threw up. So for your own sake, employ me, 'cause I can cook it.
I was one that taught her, even if she knows it was me that taught her to cook. That's just.
I don't know. So I
You know, but then
That's
again,
absolutely
this
wrong.
actually spans across different, different areas, because we've even seen friends and we've seen family members and stuff who have, taken up, who have had to betray their friends or whatever in this regard to get
a job,
the
or,
job
something.
or something.
And it's,
So,
I mean, it's very questionable. And this is a professional setting.
Okay.
Just like saying, oh, you want to apply for reference letter now. You say,
let me
okay,
leave
so
you.
give me the admission, give me the admission.
Let me leave you with a word of wisdom inspired by Chief MM. Betrayal doesn't come from an enemy.
Comes from your
That's
friend.
okay. We'll take a time out and stay with us. We'll be back in a bit. Yeah.
Must you always do that every single time? Yeah.
So let's.
All right, so quite interesting headlines on the front pages this morning. We'll be starting off with the Nation newspaper, making the headlines here. Speaker Ayedatiwa to send quit letter. And on the top of the papers here, we have President seeks $8.6 billion, 100 million euros loans to improve livelihood and fulfill a $100 billion pledge on climate change, Tinubu tell US, EU. And Emefiele yet to meet bail conditions back in prison. And Obaseki should have consulted me on successor, says Shaibu. And you can find more of that story on page 27 of the Nation newspaper. Mike, is there any story that you'd like to take?
Of course, people have been talking about the loans that the president asked for. And you have to understand that even the US is owing. It's not, the loan is not the issue, it's what would be money be used for. That is where we start having issues. Taking a loan, I mean, the richest nations, they still borrow.
Yeah.
What are we using it for? Let's hope that we have a departure from having to use loans to fund lifestyle. Because from what they say here, livelihood, what is the loan to be used for?
But then, Mike,
President made something, I heard something yesterday where the president said that he's going to ensure that Nigeria gets 24 hours electricity. So imagine if a loan was taken to ensure that we have 24 hours electricity. Imagine what it would do to your business. Imagine what it would do to businesses. A lot of people have left this country just for that. So if it's for a cause like that, yes, we don't know yet, but hopefully it's not the word to use. We have to ensure that we can take care some and ensure that we hold our leaders accountable and that these loans are used
for what they should be, what they've been taking for in the
those
first
instances.
Let's not also forget that we're still owing. There's still a lot of loans that we're owing.
That we are
as a
owing our
country.
bill.
Yeah. Close to, I can't remember the last figure, but they were running into trillions. Okay, let's move on to the Guardian newspaper, making the headlines here. After $3 billion crude deal, additional ones against resource-backed debts. Well, we're just talking about that. And at the bottom of the paper here, Jega asks lawmakers to proscribe cross-carpeting by politicians once INEC unbundled. And Tinubu seeks Senate validation for $8.6 billion, 100 million euros loans approved by Buhari government. And over 27 million kids driven into hunger, malnutrition by extreme weather. That's a pretty sad story there. And here, one more story. I'll just take one more story here. Subsidy removal has battered us with hardship. Pains, says pensioners. And, Mike, the 27 million kids driven into hunger, malnutrition by extreme weather, that's a pretty sad story. But we're hoping that the loans that the president is seeking from the U.S. would cater to this as well.
Yeah, for me, the major thing I want to pick out here is from the former INEC chairman, Professor Atairu Jega, who stated that we must prescribe cross-carpeting and unbundled dialect. In a lot of other countries, because of You don't see cross-carpeting when people have different ideals and founding principles. So it's hard to see somebody who is, you know that, for instance, a Democrat and a Republican, they have entirely different ways of thinking of going around a particular problem. You could almost predict how a Republican would tackle a particular problem and how a Democrat would go about it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't, over here is just people who at one particular point, they like each other and they can form
Yeah.
Now we are
An
hearing talk
alliance.
of, it happened before. I mean, that's how the APC was from. Now we're hearing talk of the opposition are calling for themselves to
Exactly,
come
to
together,
come together.
to topple. As much as that happens, it is not the best way. For me, ideologies, what can we say is an ideology? And so, yes, if we
I think
go
if they
by this
align,
and we say that cross-carpeting,
Yeah.
we can prescribe it. That means that we can say that it is illegal in a lot of ways to just jump in
jump
before-
into different
Some people have
parties.
gone 2-3 times.
Yeah.
Some people have gone 2-3 times back and forth.
Yeah, from one party to the next. Let's move over to the Nigerian Tribune and making the headlines here. Ayedatiwa Ondo Speaker reveals details of deal brokered by Tinubu. And you can find more of that story on page 213 of the paper. Here we have Ekiti government sues Chef Dami's pastor, demands 10 million naira damages. Okay.
Oh, I wish we
Nice.
could. Maybe some of the coming days will talk about how much that girl has been bullied in a lot of ways.
Exactly.
Because she has cried out and she was arrested, according to the something. So hopefully this is the point is that her human rights should
Has
not be
been
trampled
trampled,
upon.
yes.
And we should ensure that, look, that young girl, because there's a whole lot of mess around that story, you know. So hopefully this will ensure that the law will take its course, and whoever
hopefully.
is doing is, trying to
But this is the government.
intimidate her.
This is the
Okay, so
government
yes,
stepping
I think
into
it's an
this.
arm of a
So,
government, not like the state. It's probably an arm of prosecutionary arm of a government. In that, for human rights and all of that, from what I read and all of that. So hopefully there's some reprieve given to that young lady for what
she's been through, yeah. Okay, and that's all we can take. There are quite a number of, there's still quite a few headlines there, so grab onto the papers this morning, and yeah, you can go through, some of what we've discussed and more. And we have to head over to the kitchen now, where Winfrey is standing by with the chef. What's cooking, guys?
All right, welcome into the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen, and I have right here with me Chef Isong. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fine.
All right, so this is your first time on Wake Up Nigeria in our kitchen. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that?
It's very nice to be here.
It's nice to be here, okay? Definitely nice to have you here as well. Okay, so tell me, what are we making today?
What we are making today, we are making village mix of farah rice.
Village mix of fada rice. And what ingredients do we need to bring that to life?
We have a lot of ingredients that we use to make it to be very nice because ufada rice is a very good rice. It's very healthy and all that. So we have a lot of ingredients here. We have here, then the first we have ufada rice here.
Okay, of course, the star ingredients. Yes, okay.
So we have, this is panla fish. That's how they call it in Yoruba.
Okay,
We have iru,
all right.
local beans. Then we have no cube.
The seasoning cube.
The seasoning cube.
Yeah.
We have gizzard that we have to toast it to mix it with the rice so you can have the good taste of it. This is vegetable leaf.
All right.
that we
What
use to
vegetable is
garnish
this?
Ugu leaf
Ugu leaf.
that we use to garnish it to make it very nice for health.
All right, amazing. So we have all of these things right here for our mix this morning. And how do we start making this dish? What's the very first thing we do?
The very first thing, we have to boil the rice. When you put the hot water on fire, when the water is hot, you boil the rice and you shift it out, and you start the process of cutting the fish, wash the fish, and the gizzard. You put all of the ingredients together to make it come to the reality.
Okay.
And we make it to call it mixed village of fada rice.
Okay, mixed village of fada rice. So now when you say put all the fish together, what do you mean? Do you mean, are we boiling the fish? With the gizzard, what exactly
We
is
are not
happening?
boiling the fish. When we just remove all the bones from the fish and we slice the gizzard, we have to toast it with the normal pepper, and we use this iru that we call local beans to bring out the flavor on it.
Okay.
That will make the taste is very nice for someone to eat it.
Okay, so when we do all of that, we then mix it with the rice that we've boiled.
Yes, we
right?
mix it. After we parboil the rice, we mix it with the rice that will give you the main fillet
All right.
for the rice.
Okay, and then lastly, we add the ugu.
Yeah, lastly,
to
we
it.
have to go to it to garnish it.
Okay, amazing. All right, so now tell me, do you have any particular tip for washing this off? Because I know, I've heard of other rice is notorious for being very, very dirty. So now, what would you advise is the best way we wash ofada rice? Because from me, I can at least see some bones, some stones and things like that. So how would you say?
That's a very nice question, because to start with it, we have to use normal water, cold water to wash it. When you wash it, you will see the dirty that is coming out from it. So that's why when you wash it finish, you have to boil your water and you put the rice to the pot. You allow it to boil like 10 to 15 minutes. You wash it out again.
You wash it again.
Properly cook.
Okay.
And make it to have a good taste of it so that we don't have any breaking of sand or
stone inside. So we wash it first with normal water, and we wash it in boiling water. And then we sieve it and then get ready to cook. All right, nice. Okay, so I think we can start. So what's the first thing we have to do now?
You have to wash the rice.
Yeah, wash the rice. So we have some water back there. So while you do that, let me ask you a few questions about yourself. So what is it about cooking? What do you like about cooking? When did you start cooking?
I started cooking right from the 2013. When I come to Lagos, I come to Lagos as a kitchen assistant.
Oh, okay.
So when I was seeing people cooking, I was so much
interested in it. Okay. Okay.
So through that, I started learning before I went to catering school. So when I went to catering school, so lucky, Ofada have me as his own chef.
All right.
Which I have been with Ofada Boy, this making 4 years now.
4 years, that's solid, amazing. I'm sure you have different cooking skills. So now at Ofada Boy, is it only Ofada rice we make?
More, we not make only Ofada rice, we make a lot of
recipes
on it, because I make them with Ofada rice, but normally I bring out from a Fibom state.
Okay.
We have a lot of different type of village food that we make. So we have up to 11 type of different soup in the Ofada Boy.
All right, so we actually talk about those 11 soups in a bit. But first off, we need you to get into washing and prepping this rice so it's ready in time for our guests to try it out.
All right.
But right now, we actually have to go on a break. And when we come back, still so much more happening right here. Stay with us.
Thanks for staying with us. How well do you know your partner's family health history? Or how well do you know their history, going back, to their genealogy and maybe even their reputations? Well, on relationships today, we have Aremo Olalekan Oluwatobi. He's a certified relationship and marriage coach and mentor who is passionate about God, love, relationships, and marriages, especially life transformation. And this morning, we will be talking about family health history, reputations, and relationships. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. This conversation is, it's very, very, but let's just get right into it,
Okay.
right? What sort of questions should one ask at the point of getting into a serious relationship or at the point of courtship in regards to their family history?
Okay.
In reputation and health-wise.
Okay. So I think the easiest one would probably be health-wise.
Okay.
Because whether your partner, if your person is trying to lie to you, you can, most of it you can verify medically. Okay, so it's always best to ask first for the spouse, are there particular illnesses that you experience from time to time? Okay, or have you had a particular kind of illness before? Is there any major illness that you have had? Okay, and then is there a major illness that you've seen happen consistently in your family? Okay, because if it has been consistent with the family, say the father had it, an uncle had it, the grandfather had it, there's a tendency that is a genetic thing, and there's a tendency that by the time you guys have children, the possibility that way, yes, and that knowledge would arm you with different things. Okay, which is one of the key things is the knowledge of how to either avoid or handle. Okay, so that is one peculiar thing, or one very important thing. Ask the question of what particular illnesses do you experience as a personally, and then what have you found that is consistent with your family. Okay, in that regards. And then for reputation. Okay, so usually people always want to paint their families in a good light. Okay, but I think that for many people that maybe grew up in the cities, unfortunately, many people are not even aware, okay, of, say, particular reputation. But let's say a family, for example, is known, okay, outcast, say in some part of Nigeria, for example, and it's not even Nigeria actually, okay, and this person knows, okay, and then say spouse A is about to marry spouse B. Spouse B's family do not marry outcasts, but spouse A is an outcast. Now, if that information is not shared, what would happen is that they would get emotionally connected so much that by the time it's now probably wedding day, a family member now jumps another family member, and then everything
is exposed.
Yes. Family,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
there's trouble. And then the other person is wondering, how come you never told me?
Yeah.
I never heard of this before, and all that. So now, family reputation can play out even in different ways. Say, for example, a family that is known for stealing. Okay, something that's seemingly basic as that. Okay, for
That's
stealing.
passed on from one generation.
And then, yes, there's that consistent
Yeah.
thing, but they know, those people, please just hide your things from them. And maybe somehow you jam this person. Maybe this person has even changed, maybe, or somehow was untouched by the old experience.
Yeah.
It's very important still
To communicate.
that you communicate this to your partner that, oh, my family has this reputation, because it will not be nice if that spouse now hears this from
someone else,
a stranger, some random person, and say, you're married into a family of thieves. And you know, you tear shirt, you fight the person, you're like, you never say that.
Yeah.
And then everybody says, come on, it is true. And then you go back to find that person says it's true, and you're feeling very stupid and all that. So it's always important that these things are communicated.
And so here, I mean, back in the day, I know our grandfathers and even our parents, well, some of us would do investigations at the point of, you know, you go and check this family, go to that family. So it's either we are going to our imams or we are going to our pastors, you know, to help us pray and, you know, reveal what is hidden. Right. Is that advisable in this regard? And what sort of, you know, other than, you know, the religious, you know, mode of investigation, what other investigations can one do in a case where your intended spouse is not communicating to you? Okay. Because there's so much we can know about or so much or so little we can know about our partners or we know about our partners, even as we are in a marriage situation.
Yeah, true. So if your partner is not communicating, it's a red flag. You should run.
And how would you know that it's not?
Yeah. So it's about that. If you're armed with the right questions to ask. Now, if they lied to you, it's a different thing. It's a different case because then they lied and you don't know.
Okay.
But if you're asking questions and they're always gaslighting you, they're always shifting the conversations, then you know that those are signs that they don't want to have that conversation. And that's a sign that you don't want to be in that relationship. You don't want to move ahead until that conversations are had. But if the person lied, for example, and that's a possibility, human beings, okay, a person can lie. How do you find out? Beyond religious things, okay? Unfortunately, the way the world has become very industrialized and all, the sense of community that used to be back in the days is not there anymore. Okay? Back in the days, if a grandfather can know a particular, just by the name, that's why most my parents will ask, what's your name? What state are you from? Where in that state? What's the family name? The moment they have those information, they already have a sense of this is the kind of family this person is from. But all that is, many people, many people grow up in the urban areas, and some of them don't even have an idea of these things. But I think basic things that are important, you want to check that person in particular. Okay, say for example, have you ever been in fraud before? Okay, have you ever been the cause of a fraud or in a fraudulent situation before that maybe you're implicated or something? That information might look like I'm exposing myself, but your partner needs to know about things like that. Okay, so those ones you can't claim not to know. You may not know what your grandfather did, what your father did, and all that, and the implications of that, but you can find out the one that, is staring you right in the face.
Yeah, so quickly, we need to wrap this up. Now, in a situation where you have been lied to and you have crossed into the marriage, right? And then, so for example, there's a history of madness. Right. Let's go deep into this conversation because it needs to be had. There's a history of madness, maybe passed on from grandfather to grandfather, and then there's a possibility that your child might have it.
Yeah.
What do you do as a spouse in that sort of situation?
At that moment, you find damage control. At that point, the important thing right now is the children. Okay. So you need to go and carry out medical checks to know that, to check. Are they prone to these things? And if they are prone, how can we deal with it? Okay, because the line has happened already. You can't change the line. Trust has been broken. There has to be work to be done to restore that. But more importantly now is, how do I ensure that none of these children have this? Okay, and then medically, if you check, let them go through a check medically, and even not even madness. Okay, it can be, say, things, maybe some other diseases there. Okay, let them check.
Some form of disorders.
Yes, that kind of thing. Let there be a medical check. If they are prone to it, they can give you what can we do to avoid this thing blowing out full or something. And then when you can do that, then you can now come and deal with your partner one-on-one. What if it's spiritual? Then you take it spiritual. Speak to your imam, speak to your pastor. Because they are actually spiritual issues.
Exactly.
Okay, so if it's a spiritual thing, then it's important that if you're a spiritual person, then you should deal with it spiritually as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Aremo. This has been a very insightful conversation because it's a look into conversations that are not being had between partners even before they get into, this lifelong, institution called marriage. But thank you so much, Aremo. And that's a wrap on the relationship segment right now. There's still something cooking in the kitchen, and it smells really nice. Winfrey.
All right. Yeah, of course. Welcome back into Wake Up Nigeria Kitchen. So now let me confess. Chef, this song is performing magic, right? And the magic, me, if I don't understand it, even if I'm standing here. So tell us, Chef, what's happening? So we have our ofada rice. In case you're just joining us, we're making ofada village rice.
Yes.
Yeah. And we have our ofada rice right here in the pot. Please open that. Let's see what the ofada rice looks like. So this is the first boiling, right? For the washing.
The first boiling washing.
For the washing.
You can look at it, you will see the dates that come after it.
Yes. Okay. And how many minutes more do we need to leave that for?
You have to leave it like 20 minutes more. So
20 minutes more.
Well cook.
So that it will cook?
Yes.
Okay. Properly. All right. So now then tell me what exactly is going on in that pan.
All right.
And so what do we have there?
What is going on here is a sauce that we prepared that was, as I explained before, we have all the spice that make the village mix to come to that.
Yes.
So what we have here, we have the roasted gizzard, we have the panla roasted one, then we mix it with the Lagos beans that they normally call it iru in Yoruba. So that's what we make with the pepper and everything, onions inside, that make the sauce come to reality.
Okay, okay. But tell me the process. Like, so what was the first thing that went into the pan? The oil?
The process, when you just put the pan on the fire, we put your onions, you put the fresh pepper on it with a groundnut oil.
Okay. So it's groundnut oil, not palm oil?
Yes, not palm oil, it's groundnut oil. We put the gizzard and the fish after washing it, just to toast it with the pepper to make it come very nice and together.
Of course,
mixed together as you can see it.
Yes.
It's very mixed together now. So what left us to do now, when the rice is well parboiled, you have to put the rice and mix it. Then we garnish it with the ugu. With the ugu.
All right, so now we're just waiting for the rice to boil. We'll rinse it one more time and then mix it all together and our rice is ready. Amazing. I mean, it's good when food cooks really quick. It's actually a really nice feeling. All right, I think that's happening right here in the kitchen. In case you're just joining us, we're making village ofada rice. And just quickly run through the ingredients that we actually used to put this together. Of course, ofada rice being the star ingredient. We have some onions, oil, groundnut oil. As the chef said, we definitely have some iru, locust beans. We have some gizzard diced, some panla fish as well, all shattered. and some pepper mix, right? So for the pepper mix, do we use any tomato or is just pepper mix?
We mix the tomato with the normal pepper to mix it so that the pepper will not be too much.
Okay, so just a little
pepperish.
pepper,
Yes,
I mean a little
pepper,
tomato,
yes,
and then
a little
pepper.
tomato to mix it together.
Mix it together. Of course, we have some iru and some ugu here for garnishing, all right? And that's it. Simple, and that makes your village ofada rice, all right? We'll be going on a break now because it is the top of the hour. Still so much more to come in the next 45 minutes. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
We are back.
Yeah, welcome. It's the second hour of today's rendezvous, and we are here to ensure that we get you right, set you up. The studio, the aroma around the studio is very, very nice, and we are passing that kind of aroma to you. You might not be able to perceive it, but you see, if you look at us and look at what is happening in the kitchen, you might probably be able to get the feel of what we're doing today on the show. Winfrey, why are you looking like that?
The rice is captivating. It's calling me.
Your hands are too neat and tidy. They're too clean for someone who's in the kitchen.
Wow, it's kitchen.
But they're
one reason
actually
why
meant
my
to
hands
be-
should be clean now.
No, they're
Because
supposed
the
to be at least
kitchen.
the ingredients supposed to be around. You're supposed to be.
Oh, wow, Mike.
They're
So I'm meant
supposed
to have
to
pamoya.
Exactly, Pamo. So they will know you're
Iru.
cooking.
I didn't say palm oil now. Chef, how's it going there?
It's going well.
All right, good.
Oh, nice. Well done. Well done. The aroma is certainly filling the air. I know we can't wait to dig in when it's ready. But hey, Wednesdays aren't just about the middle of the week. They're also about momentum. Yes. And of course, as always, we're here to fuel your motivation and keep you charging forward and making sure that you see that momentum, you remain there.
All right, welcome. Let's get to this next 45 hours and make it a wonderful one for you. My name is Mike Messikeno.
And I am Email Kocha. Remember that you can watch the show live at tvcentertainment.tv, and you can also follow us on all our socials at TVC Connect.
Use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC to hit us up so that we can have, or you can have that engagement that you so desire.
Yeah, so guys, we need you to brace up for more captivating content. And for musical performance, we have Nigerian British singer and songwriter Yande.
We have Henry Obidi as our final guest on the show, director, author, lecturer, and of course, we'll be talking to him about what he's been doing.
Of the time that you spend.
Interesting stuff.
So we're talking about Chef Dami and all of that. I remember that time when the girl cried out and all of that, and then she was arrested. Why laughing?
No, like the thought of Chef Dami.
Because you've been on one very funny angle. You've been taking that story on. I don't like that angle. I've always been against you on that angle. But you see, the point is that I don't know why. I don't know, because she didn't break the record. Oh, by the way, there's another person that said they.
That's what that's. But hey, it's not funny because
It's funny. It's funny.
yeah, he's currently not.
So that's the
It's
thing.
funny.
So that's
When you were going to break the record,
Exactly. Didn't you check?
you did not
on
put
effects?
measures. Yes.
Also, exactly. Of like
Even when you wash
water.
when you wash very well and all of that, your hands get white. Yeah, but the one I don't know that you spit because it was very, very white.
It was one, and I think to me, when I saw the video, the first thing that came to my mind is that that's very bad publicity for the sponsor of that thing.
Yeah.
Yes, because it shows that your detergent. It shows that your detergent is really harsh and literally does that to the hand. Do you understand? So and I'm like,
For the hand washathon, it was supposed to be 50 hours.
And it's
58 hours.
But you know that.
Oh my
But I don't know. Maybe I should let Nigerians know that. Do you know that there are records of fastest? Like we have a young boy who has a record for fastest jogs in 1 minute.
Yeah.
Like not all record is longest marathon. Some records are shortest, fastest, and all of that. But the way we are going, somebody did cryathon.
Cryathon.
wait, first of all, was it just a hand or what was it?
Hand washathon. That's what she went to.
She washed the color off her hand.
She was in melanin.
What?
The DNA. If you check that, there's no DNA on that.
We need to understand that. They're actually
Doesn't have thumbprints again.
She washed up her identity. Identity
I'm
crisis.
sorry.
Please, this is also, we're not trying to.
No, like I mean,
idea you want to take it like that.
And we are back. Interesting. interesting performance there by Yande. Loved it. Hey, now we're moving over to an interesting conversation, another interesting conversation with Henry Obidi. He is a man of many talents. He's a director, author, lecturer, filmmaker, and the founder of the Generation Next Edutainment, where he mentors and empowers young people. You are welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Such a pleasure having you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I mean, you've been on this journey for 33 years.
Okay,
Talk
yes.
to us about, so far how it's been for you, having to transverse through different sectors. You mean from education to entertainments, to, humanitarian. Just keep, having fun. Talk to us about how the experience so far has been.
Yeah, it's been a wonderful journey so far. I remember like yesterday when I came to Lagos in 1989 and then saw how the journey went, my educational experience as a person, and then the growth process. What I did that actually made me transcend from one industry to the other is taking the hitches that I have faced in life, as a yardstick to create something to help those who are going to face that same goes through that same experience that I had. So for the education aspect, of course, I didn't get the best of education at an early age, and then first I decided to write a book, Oral English Made Simple, and it did so well. It's still doing well.
Oral English Made Simple.
Yes.
The irony of that is when you came into Lagos, you couldn't read or write either. And here you are authoring a book that is actually impacting on lives or in the lives of people who do not know how to read either or speak good English.
Yes, and that's because I believe that everything that you have in life that seemed to be a deficiency was put there for you to overcome and then help others. So there's no problem that comes to a man that a man does not have the innate ability to overcome and then help other people overcome. So for me, when I see issues or problems, even in people's lives, I begin to say, okay, this could be an area of your personal calling. This could be an area which you could overcome and then help others. So that was it.
Okay, great. Let's talk about you as a film director and filmmaker. How has that journey been? You've directed over 200 movies. That's quite a lot. You have been working hard, Mr. Doctor. It's quite a lot. And, talk to us about, how it's been so far for you, the industry, the Nollywood industry.
Yeah.
You started from, from not the inception, but at least you started from when the industry was still trying to get, gain its feet to where it is right now.
Yeah.
And where do you think it will be in the next 5 to 10 years as a filmmaker?
Yes, from the perception of a film director, I started off as an executive producer. So I got my directorial training, then came back to the country and then mixed up and looked for one of the best directors we have. And then I personally now trained again under him. Between that time and now, there's been a lot of changes in the industry, of course. Technically, we have changed, we have metamorphosized into something that is better. You see, before, or as at the time we started, I didn't start the industry. I would look at myself as one of the young ones in the industry as well. But then I have worked and served for so many years under those who started the industry directly. And I still work and serve a lot of them. And all of this time, there is a total difference. Then it was just about the passion. Then it was just about, okay, I've got the talent, I can do everything. We make money in other places, we put into the industry and all of that. The passion was genuine, the passion was real. But now it's totally enterprised. Now we are beginning to look at the film industry from a different perspective. First, the psychological perspective. We have come to the realization of the fact that you don't make movies because you just want to make movies. You make movies to change a particular trend or change a particular behavior. And that's why I went to study further on neurocinematics, which is the use of creative arts, the use of the audiovisual to channel the perception, the point of view of individuals. It means that what you're wearing today, which is very beautiful, and I've admired it from the first instance I saw it, is based on a picture you may have seen over time, and it may have pervaded your mind unconsciously, and then it builds your trend, it builds who you are, and that simply says that with movies we can change narratives, with movies we can change the point of view of people, with movies we can actually create a new normal that people can flow with. So
let's talk. I've seen a couple of your movies here now. Let's talk about your genre of the kind of movies that you make. I mean, from going through your journey and where where we used to package movies in VCDs, DVDs, cassettes, then VCDs and DVDs. And now we see that trend eroding, right? And now we are getting into the space where, there's a lot of streaming platforms that have come in.
Yes.
Is there still a future for that genre, that particular genre of movies that you make?
Of course, there's a future for every genre of films. The thing is, as long as it's motion picture, there is always a group of people that is willing to work with you, and not just work with you, also buy and appreciate what you do.
I'm also referring to its marketability in this regard.
The market is segmented.
Okay.
The market is grossly segmented. You have people who would not watch anything but a particular streaming platform. I would not want to mention names.
Yeah.
And then you have a particular group of people that would not want to watch a particular, thing. Somebody told me that, okay, why don't we just focus on this aspect of film production? For me, I do all genres, in the terms that you express it. But for me, I would call it segmentation. So I do all segmentation, the high segmentation, I do the regular segmentation. So I just mix it up in order to meet up with all the to enjoy the bigger market share and all of that. So I've realized over the years and through research that when we celebrate a certain level or segment of film marketing, we ignore certain level of film marketing. And you do not even know that that area you are ignoring is actually the area that a lot of people are cashing out on a daily basis.
Okay.
So some people do that other aspect for social stratification. I just want to do it. But when you go into their profitability and liquidity, you just realize that there's no money. They are not making profit. It's like taking money from somewhere else and then puffing it into this place for social stratification. Okay. But the people making the real money are just there, making their money quietly and calmly. Okay. So the film industry has really expanded, and there's no, how would I call it? There's no fence around it anymore.
It's been a very interesting conversation, very insightful, and taking our minds into what's happening, in that area, in that aspect of the Nollywood industry is quite interesting. And thank you so much for being on the show today. And there's still so much we needed to discuss because like I said earlier, he's a man of many talents. But hey, we have to go now. Yeah. And well, the show continues shortly. People, stay with us.
All right. There's Independence Day. There's Christmas Day, there's New Year Day, and there's also Father Day. And well, there's one person who has made that particular day something that we celebrate right here in Lagos. That's talking about none other than Father Boy. It is great to have you, Father Boy. You're welcome. I was, just before we even talk about all of that, I was reading your profile sometime and all of that, and people don't understand how much of this is an ancestral thing for you. Tell us about that. How much so that you are so connected to that? It's more than just a business for you. It's more or less like keeping the family heritage and all of that.
It's a region where some people are from. And that's where I'm from. That's where my great-grandfather's from. And my great-grandfather was the first farmer of Ofada rice. So it's not just a passing conversation. I am a Father Boy by heritage, and and that is why I'm solidly on the fact that the story and the narrative of the Ofada rice has to change. And you know, it's one of the best things that has ever happened to Nigeria. It's one of our biggest exports. We've not exploited that enough, and that is why I'm here to make all those things happen.
Wonderful. You see, so it's something that your grandfather, up to what generation? Which generation?
Okay, my third generation.
Third generation.
Yes, please.
That's wonderful. So you are carrying the family legacy and all of that. What does it mean to you?
It's more than just owning it. It's deeper than it looks and sounds, basically. You know, a lot of people can't pinpoint what their 3 generations to the back, what they were about.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that to God that, you know, I was able to trace that and, you know, make it happen. And, you know, who am I? You know, it's a collective thing, and I'm happy that the nation, you know, the Southwesterners, Nigeria as a whole is embracing the fact that Ofada rice is here to stay.
All right, so let's talk about your Father Day.
Okay.
And all of that. How did it start? What is the idea behind putting together Ofada Day?
Okay, so
Ofada Rice Day.
you know, I've owned Ofada Boy we started Ofada Boy as a business 14 years ago, and you know, it was just a big coincidence because, you know, it was my dad's funeral, and my dad is from Ofada. My dad loves Ofada rice, you know. Okay. So, you know, on his funeral, I didn't see it as a business. I just said, okay, let's honor this man. Let's make some rice. Let's do some things for him. And, you know, after the event, you know, a couple of people started saying, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this. And, you know, I then just graduated. So I'm like, we can try this again while I'm still looking for the official 9 to 5 work. And, you know,
wow.
And that's how it started.
That's how it started.
And yeah, 14 years ago. And, you know, what birthed the Ofada Festival is the fact there was a time I traveled out of the country and I went to their local market, and I was looking for Ofada. You know, I was just trying, the inquisitive me, I was just trying to ask questions. So I saw, I think it was a Pakistani woman, and I asked her, she was the one that in charge of the different types of rice. I asked her do you have Ofada rice? I said, yes. She showed me some sort of rice. I said, no, that's not Ofada. I said, it's Indian rice, but everybody buy it Ofada rice. I'm like, no, I know Ofada rice. That's what I do. He said, no, this is Ofada rice. People buy. I'm like, oh, so it has gotten to this point.
You
know,
if you don't tell your own story, somebody else will
they'll tweak it and they'll tell it for us. They'll package it, bring it back to us, and we'll buy it at premium. So, you know, I just said, no, we need to start making a noise. There has to be an hashtag for this rice. There has to be a day dedicated to this rice, and we've not looked back since then.
You know, so this year, what are we to expect from this year's edition of Ofada Day?
Okay, this year is we've themed it. The theme is all about what you should expect. Basically, it's themed Ofadabration. You know, it's a celebration of Ofada rice, and that's the theme for this year. And you know, one of the things that, you know, we're partnering with a couple of embassies to, you know, because if we have to take our food to the world, they also need to be present. We need to have some sort of culture exchange. You know, so they will be there, you know, to also talk about what and how much they are willing to partner with us, because culture is not just what we wear. You know, it cuts deep into the food, it cuts deep into other parts, you know. So we have that. We also, you know, we're taking a step further to also appreciate foodpreneurs all around the world. Do you understand? You know, we know how big of a deal Enish restaurant is in the UK, and how much they've been able to promote our food. You know, so we're putting Enish on the map. We're thanking them for doing what they do. You know, we have another restaurant in America. We have one in Canada, and coincidentally, we have one in Australia. That we're yes, you know, they all, you know, we're all reaching out to them and to thank them. You know, we're also partners with the professional food handlers, and those are caterers. You know, if not for caterers, the Ofada rice won't be on the menu in parties.
Wonderful.
You know, they are the ones that promote the conversation.
All right. So is this open to the public? When is it happening? What are the details of the event?
Okay, the event is on the 3rd of December. It's happening at Muriel Kuala Park in Victoria Island. You know, it starts at 11. You know, it starts at 11 till like 8, 9 in the evening. You know, we have different, if you miss a minute, you've missed it. There's something happening at every minute of the day. And, you know, we have drummers, we have dancers, we have guest artists, international guest artists. You know, it's a fun
field event.
Yes, now, is it free to everyone to enter?
It's free, but you need to register so that, you
Okay.
know, we're very keen on the number of guests we're expecting. We want to be able to predict so that we can take adequate care of everybody there. So it's a strictly, you need to register.
Where can
you know, it's on the Ofada Boy page. You can go to www.ofadaboy.ng. You'll get the registration portal there. Just register. You know, we just want to be able to say that Yinka was there, Femi was there. You know, it's not just a random event that you just come into.
Okay, now you made mention about cross-cultural exchange and all of that. Some people, one of the challenges people say they have is with preparation of a father. If we are going to have foreigners get to do it, we'll probably have to teach them and all of that. Are there skills that one can learn? Because you see, it's a lot of people have said, I've never prepared it before, by the way, I love it and all that. A lot of people have spoken about the challenges of preparing and all of that.
Okay, so we're getting past that stage. You know, our father used to smell, our father used to have stones, but we're gradually getting past. You know, it's just some lackadaisical attitude on the farmer's side. You know, but you know, we're getting past that, you know. And you see this, our father, you think it smells, it's a foreign, it's an international delicacy somewhere in the world. You know, they also have their own stuffs that we embrace and bring on board. So, you know, it doesn't smell, it's just the aroma, it's just the distinctive feature.
That makes it stand out.
Yes.
We'll still be having you, of course. It's just coming up very soon, but I know that you'll still be around and we'll get to enjoy delicacies that you have. I'm looking forward to the 3rd of December.
Yes,
Day.
different.
There's a father in the kitchen. We're heading to the kitchen now. Okay.
All right, welcome back. And yes, we have Ofada Boy and Dr. Henry here in the kitchen.
Welcome into the Wake Up Nigeria kitchen. Ofada Boy, I mean, we have your chef right here. He's been hard at work putting together this native village Ofada rice, right?
Yes.
Village Ofada rice. And then we're not giving you...
Yes. Ofada Boy, see where he's a family member, so he's not eating.
We'd like you to try it out. I tell him, give him his verdict.
Tell him what's and
Wow.
You know, you can even hear the wow. He's trying to dissect what is happening.
So Chef, tell us exactly what it is there.
The moment I saw it, I had to ask him that question. And he said it's village Ofada rice.
Yes. It's signature, right? One of your many signatures.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And many of what we'll be having at the Ofada Fest. So please enjoy, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ofadabration.
Here we go.
The Ofadabrated.
It looks very yummy.
Looks very yummy.
All right.
That's head nod.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much for being on the show today.
amazing.
we will be there, of course. It's going to be this weekend. It's been a wonderful time with you on the show. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.